Recently, every professional investor has their attention on one piece of document because this document will inspire them what sector to focus and ultimately which stocks to buy. Hi, I'm Frankie. Welcome back to my fuck show, Frankie Answers Questions. Today, we will talk about the 12th Malaysian Plan, the largest development plan in Malaysian history, involving 400 billion ringgit, and hopefully it will inspire you with your investment ideas. Question 1. What is the Malaysia 5-year plan? The Malaysia Plan is a 5-year development plan introduced in 1966, 1 year after the formation of the Malaysia Federation. At the point in time, there was a huge gap between the wealthy and the low income. Therefore, the plan's objective were to promote the welfare of all citizens and improve the living conditions in rural areas, particularly among low-income groups. So, every 5 years, they will renew a new plan to keep up with the economic development in the country. Today, the 5-year plan has also evolved into a blueprint or a guideline for lawmakers to drive the country's growth to be a high-income nation. Since then, professional investors have been using it to find inspiration for stock ideas. For example, if the government plans to improve public transportation in Malaysia by, say, extending the MRT line, that will tell you which companies are likely to benefit from such projects and what other supporting businesses are involved. When the government pays them for the jobs done, that's when value is created for shareholders. That's why you really have to pay attention to the 5-year plan. But at the end of the day, lawmakers can only provide the directions for the country to move forward. It still depends on the individual company or people to deliver the results. Question 2. What are the highlights of the 12th Malaysia Plan? In the past 2 years, many of us suffered from this COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of that, it estimated that Malaysia's poverty rate increased from 5.6% in 2019 to 8.4% in 2020. It is a challenging time that even businesses who managed to stay afloat had to tighten their belts, cut expenses and salaries to survive. Although the economy started to open up and help the unemployment rate to decline from its peak of 5.3% recorded in May 2020, it is still elevated at roughly 4.8% today. So, in the 12th Malaysian Plan, the major agenda is for national recovery and restoration of economic stability after this COVID-19 pandemic. The few important highlights are the commitment to digitize the economy, improving our ESG standards, Boomi privileges, and the 400 billion ringgit development spending. Wait, the government got money meh? Question 3. Tell me more about digitizing the economy. The whole point can be summarized into 2 letters: 5G. In this decade, we talk about augmented reality, AI, electric vehicles, and many other high-tech stuff. But to make all this happen, we must first build a good infrastructure. The government is ready to invest 15 billion ringgit to speed up the nationwide 5G rollout to ignite a new era for this country. In other words, more telco towers must be built. More data centers have to be established for analytic purposes. More trainings will be required to upskill Malaysians to handle high-tech requirement. Question 4. ESG? What about it? This one word: green. Over the years, ESG is taking greater significance in the global stage. The goal is to create a more sustainable living environment for the future generations. In fact, ESG is so important that if a country or company does not comply with the standards, sanctions could be imposed and it will be hard to attract investors or businesses. In this regard, the government has given its commitment to stop building new coal-fired power plants. On the other hand, the government may introduce economic instruments such as a carbon pricing and the carbon tax to support the effort of a green economy. Question 5. What are the new fringe benefits for Boomi? To improve the implementation of the Boomi Putra agenda, the 12th Malaysian Plan suggests that Boomi shares and firms will only be allowed to be sold to fellow Boomi Putras. However, the methods of implementation is non-conclusive. We have yet to look out on this space for more details. Question 6. What about the 400 billion ringgit development plan? This is the biggest surprise in the whole 12 MP document. The government plans to spend as much as 400 billion ringgit on development in the next 5 years, which is one of the highest figures recorded in history. To give you some context, the government spent only 249 billion ringgit in the 11 MP, making the current plan look very ambitious. But then, ironically, there was no new mega projects announced in the 12 MP. The Prime Minister merely reiterated the current known projects, such as the JB Singapore RTS, ECRL, and the Pan-Borneo Highway. Perhaps we will get more details about it when the Finance Minister tables the budget 2022 in October. All we know now is that 50% of the 400 billion ringgit will be channeled to the 6 less developed states, namely Sabah, Sarawak, Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, and Perlis, focusing on infrastructure and poverty eradication programs. Question 7. The government got money, man? I'm also asking the same question. The government already spent a lot of money for COVID-19 fight, especially the last few rounds of stimulus injections. I also don't know where they are going to find the money. In response to this, our government's answer is income tax. Now you must be even more surprised. So many people lost their jobs. The unemployment rates has gone up. There should be less income tax, right? It's okay. In the 12 MP's calculation, the average household income will be around 10,000 by 2025. With this calculation, hopefully the collection from income tax will be able to support this 400 billion ringgit development plan. Congratulations in advance because you will be rich in 5 years' time. Government say one, On top of that, the government also pays more attention to the development of strategic industries to increase the country's income in general. These industries include E&E, global services, aerospace, creative, tourism, halal, smart farming, and biomass. You may read up on the full 12 MP document to get inspiration for stock ideas based on the clues given. The point is, the government plans to rely on these industries together with other elements of the 12 MP to improve its financial position. Oh yeah, there was also no mention of reintroduction of GST at all. Also, the Prime Minister didn't talk about the capital gain tax and the windfall tax from the increasing CPO price. So, okay. Question 8. How should I interpret the 12 MP as an investor? I have to say this 12 MP did not really excite the market in general. Usually when it comes to development plans, the most exciting part are those mega projects. But this time round, there was none. The Prime Minister just reiterated all the known projects to carry on works. Well, maybe the government is keeping some details for the upcoming 2022 budget. Nonetheless, these are some of the things that I personally pick up as an investor. Firstly, regarding digitizing the economy, the government will need to build 5G infrastructures. This means building more telco towers, more cables, more data centers, more of everything that is related. Having said that, I'm not too optimistic about the telco operators because there could potentially be another round of price war to attract more subscribers. Secondly, in regards to ESG efforts, no more coal-fired power plants. So, in order to fuel the increasing power demand in the country, we are going to see more renewable energy initiatives, such as more solar farms or biomass power plants to fuel economic growth in Malaysia. Speaking of renewable energy, we have talked about this company called TechCycle in our previous video, which you can go and check it out to find out more about the company's plan to grow this segment of their business. Essentially, most companies that are involved in the supply chain of the green economy would benefit from this government commitment going forward. Third, the proposal to implement a carbon tax could mean trouble for certain companies, especially those that are totally non-compliant to environmental standards. The extra tax will eat into their profits and f them up if they still operate as it is today. On the other hand, this would make businesses comply with the low carbon standards, therefore opening up new business opportunities in the related industries. Question 9. What do you think about the 12 MP? Have you ever done your New Year's resolution before? How many of you actually achieved the goals you set?
Not me.
The 5-year plan is kind of like that. I think the 12 MP sets its goals, but there is not clear enough execution plan, so I'm not sure how they are going to achieve these goals. Also, I think they are not addressing the root problems that can create sustainable economic development. For example, the document did not spell a good plan to improve the rakyat's education standards, which is increasingly important if we are talking about a high-tech, high-income nation. It feels like they want to build a school, but they have insufficient plans to employ good teachers. I think you get the point. That's all we have for today. #fuck.